In this episode, I talk about emotional difficulties and lack of self care. Please do not listen if you believe any of these subjects may trigger you. The content of this episode is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek guidance from your health care professional.
This is the Living in Mid-Bloom podcast, lighthearted and heartfelt conversations about what it looks like to live, heal, and blossom in middle age. I'm your host, April Pruitt. Let's get our bloom on.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I am doing fine, though I have been on this roller coaster ride for the past few weeks. My plan was not to do all of these solo episodes one after another, but where I was emotionally led me down this path. I have been struggling some, and part of that is because I'm facing some fears and things that I've always wanted to do. I'm actually doing, and I'm prepared to do them. I'm facing a lot of fears, and I'm afraid that the thing that I want, I'm going to find out that I won't be able to do it. And I have to get those thoughts out of my head. So, as I said, these past few weeks have been unplanned. It's just where I am. And I think it's important to share that. And that's part of my personal journey that I wanted to share, like I've said, for myself and for anybody else who is going through things in life and wanting to grow and make changes and be happier, be good to yourself. Nobody else is going to be as good to yourself as you are, but then nobody else is going to be as hard as we are on ourselves. So the past few days, I've just struggled getting out of bed and getting anything done because I am right at the point where I'm about to make a major change. And so what I've been doing, and I'm sure some of you listening have noticed that I have postponed appointments or changed appointments purely out of fear, purely out of fear. And folks have been understanding and I've been honest. It's just where I've been. And I kept thinking, how am I going to get out of this hole? And I mean, I think even the cats are like, get out of the freaking bed. We're bored too. So, I mean, I hear Allie in the bath. She's in the bathtub meowing and her voice is echoing. And I think that was her way of saying, get the frick out of that bed and play with us. So it's like, okay, I'll play with you, but then I got to do something. So something that I've been postponing for well over a month, I took care of today, which leads me to another struggle of getting out of my house. I've probably been out 3 times in the past couple of months, and I know it's a mental thing. Just walk out the door. Well, it's much more than that because some things that I did today are leading towards something positive for myself. If I didn't do it, eventually it would be an issue for me. And somehow, well, not somehow, I got dressed, got in my car, drove, and took care of a couple of things that needed to be taken care of. And as I'm driving home, anxiety hits me and I start crying. I'm in the car, I'm crying, and I'm fearful because I've just done the one thing that I have been avoiding. And it's been more than a month. It's more like 2 or 3 months, actually. Now I feel good about it. Then I was just anxious. I was just anxious that I made a major step forward. And my goal is today, I'm recording this on Sunday night. My goal is Monday to do one more major thing that I need to take care of, along with some phone calls I need to make that I've been postponing. So that big move forward helped me today in other things. And I am very, very grateful that even when I think I'm like backsliding, these days of struggling to get out of bed, I think it was, and this happens to me, it's happened a lot the past couple of years when I'm ready to make a major change in my life. I know something different is coming and it scares me. And so I kind of push it off as long as I can. But in making that move, it reminds me that I've been given gifts by God and they should be used. And these are things that I want to do that I have a real passion for. And so I felt it today. I don't know, I felt just a little stronger and a little more, April, just didn't just pop up. You've worked hard through the years on different things that have made you who you are now. And so the talents that you have that are you're using, and it's all mostly with my voice, is something that I've honed for years without really thinking about it, but in so many ways. So being in that hole and kind of pulling myself and out in the world, my goal is first my goal was, and I will get out every day, that it was like, okay, you're pushing too hard. Just I want to get out 2 to 3 times a week. So if I beat that, then it's a win. Because what I always do is then I put pressure on myself and then I will run 100 miles. And, it's like, well, it's absurd. If you haven't left your house for a month and then suddenly you're going to go at it, don't set yourself up for failure. So I have thoughts about, I think the one thing I want to do tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. I hope I remember that even though I was crying on my way home, I was ultimately very happy that I was able to get out and take care of that thing. So I I say this to all of you, is that I know we all got those things that we probably need to get taken care of. And we do it when we can do it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do what you can. If you need help, get help. If you need to talk to a friend, talk to a friend. All I'm saying is it's not over because you lay in bed for a few days. It's not over. It's just where you are at that moment in time. Thank you all for listening. I hope this helps. And I'm going to get back on track because I got a whole lot of guests that are waiting to hear their interviews with me. And they've all been postponed because I've been working through this personal journey. And me first. So love you all. Love yourselves. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining me today on Living in Midbloom. I hope you found this episode insightful, meaningful, and maybe it's given you something to think about. I invite you to share your positive reviews or ideas on topics you would like me to touch on by leaving your comments on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, Podchaser, or Podcast Addict. We are all divine beings who just want to be seen, heard, and loved. Have a beautiful day.